Chain of Command, Star Trek: The Next Generation. Chain of Command is a two-part episode of the American science fiction television series Star Trek: The Next Generation. It aired as the 10th and 11th episodes of the 6th season and the 136th and 137th episodes of the series. In this episode, Jean-Luc Picard is removed from command of the Enterprise for a covert mission, and his replacement is assigned to deal with the Cardassians openly. The second part of the episode is noted for the intense performance of Patrick Stewart and its depiction of brutal torture and interrogation scenes. Plot, Part 1. Jean-Luc Picard, Worf, and Beverly Crusher are assigned by Starfleet on a covert mission to seek and destroy a Cardassian biological weapons installation on their border world, Kiltris 3. In Picard's place, Starfleet assigns Captain Edward Jellicle, who has a vastly different style of command and decorum than the Enterprise crew, particularly William Riker, are accustomed to. Under Jellicoe, the Enterprise patrols the border near Minos Corva, a tactically significant Federation planet, and holds negotiations as to the fate of the planet with Cardassian representatives. After intensive training in the holodeck, Picard, Worf, and Crusher discreetly arrive on Kiltris 3 and infiltrate the base. However, they find no signs of biological weapons, and suspecting a trap, they attempt to flee. Worf and Crusher escape, but Picard is taken prisoner and brought to Gul Madred, who informs him Kiltris 3 was a trap designed to capture Picard. Part 2. Madred uses a number of torture methods, including sensory deprivation, sensory bombardment, forced nakedness, stress positions, dehydration, starvation, physical pain, and cultural humiliation to try to gain knowledge of the Federation's plans for Minos Corva. Picard refuses to acknowledge Madred's demand for information. Madred attempts another tactic to break Picard's will. He shows his captive 4 bright lights and demands that Picard answer that there are 5, inflicting intense pain on Picard if he does not agree. Meanwhile, the Cardassians inform the Enterprise crew that Picard has been captured. Jellicoe refuses to acknowledge that Picard was on a Starfleet mission, an admission necessary for Picard to receive the rights of a prisoner of war, rather than being subjected to torture as a terrorist. This leads to a heated argument between Jellicoe and Riker, upon which Jellicoe relieves Riker of duty. The crew observes signs of residue from a nearby nebula on the hull of a Cardassian ship, and Jellicoe suspects a Cardassian fleet may attempt to use the cover of the nebula to launch an attack on Minos Corva. Jellicoe determines their best course of action is to place mines across the nebula using a shuttlecraft. However, Riker is the most qualified pilot for the mission. Riker candidly criticizes Jellicoe's command style and only accepts the assignment once Jellicoe personally asks him to pilot the shuttle, instead of ordering him to do so. Riker successfully lays the minefield, and Jellicoe uses the threat of the minefield to force the Cardassians to disarm and retreat, also demanding Picard's return. With word of the failure of the Cardassians to secure Minos Corva, Madred attempts one last ploy to to break Picard by falsely claiming that Cardassia has taken the planet and the Enterprise was destroyed in the battle. He offers Picard a choice: to remain in captivity for the rest of his life, or live in comfort on Cardassia by admitting he sees 5 lights. As Picard momentarily considers the offer, a Cardassian officer interrupts the process and informs Madred that Picard must be returned now. As Picard is freed from his bonds and is about to be taken away, he turns to Madred and defiantly shouts, "There are 4 lights." Picard is returned to the Federation and reinstated as captain of the Enterprise. Picard admits privately to Deanna Troi that he was saved just in the nick of time, as by that point he was broken enough to be willing to say anything to make the torture stop, and for a brief moment he actually did see 5 lights. Comparison to George Orwell's 1984. Madred's test using 4 lights is an homage to George Orwell's 1984, in which O'Brien tortures Winston Smith until Smith admits that he sees 5 fingers when O'Brien only holds up 4. Reception. This 2-part episode is ranked 10th in Entertainment Weekly's list of top 10 Star Trek The Next Generation episodes.